Hello, this is Jan Cosgrove and I welcome you to another edition of Bognor Herald Newsview. But this time it's an exclusive report. We've been working with reporter Dennis Taylor, who has a history back many years of researching certain political organisations on the far right. He contacted me to say that the British Democrat Party, which I'll talk about in a minute, has announced that it has gained a member in the Barnum area in a parish councillor, Councillor John Robinson. Now, what's that, you say? What harm is that? Well, that's a very interesting question, and one the people of that area, and particularly the electorate there, ought to be asking. The British Democrat Party. This sounds harmless, like Liberal Democrats or whatever, but it is actually a recognised far-right group. And its antecedents, its history, goes back to bodies like the National Front and other similar organisations, the British National Party, the BNP, and so forth. The British Democrat Party openly says it wants to send all immigrants away. It has a history amongst its members of Holocaust denial, sometimes in other organisations. Its leader, Andrew Bronze, certainly has been a long-term advocate of white separation and similar policies. And also the British Democrat Party has told us that Mr. Robinson had a career as a regional organiser in another such group, another far-right group. Well, that's fine, but did Mr. Robinson stand on that ticket? How many of his electors are aware that he is a member of this organisation and presumably, as Dennis Taylor says, believes what it's trying to promote? That's interesting because although he's a member of that parish council, that's Barnum and Eastergate Parish Council, he got onto it not by people like yourselves and myself going to the poll and actually electing him against against someone else, but he got on because no one else stood. Let's put it this way. A parish council, say, is supposed to have 12 members. If only 11 people put forward, or even 12, and not 13 or 14 or 20, then there is no actual election, no poll, and they are declared elected uncontested. Now, these people, good or bad, not only get to sit on the parish council and vote and do things in your name, they also get to spend your money. Barnum Eastergate Parish Council is one of those, quite a lot of parish councils around this area, who do not have people who've been voted for. I'll go back to that in a minute. So one asks, how did the people of Barnum and Eastergate get to know this man's allegiances? And should he, in their view, be speaking in their name with his views? Now let's go back to this business of not being voted for. This affects quite a lot of local parish councils. There are 6 parish councils in the Bognor urban area. Of those, only 2 are fully elected. That's Bognor Regis and Middleton. 3 of them have no people who've been elected, or they were considered as having been elected unopposed. Sounds a bit like Stalinist Russia. The other one, Aldwick, has 5 only of its 13 councillors elected. And again, these people get to spend money in your name. In fact, between them, apart from the town council, they're spending nearly £500,000 a year in the Bognor urban area. The other thing about the Barnum and Eastergate Parish Council is this. It is made up of a merger of 2 parish councils, Barnum and Eastergate. Well, guess why? Guess why they were merged? Yes, you've got it. No one wanted to stand for the separate ones, and the government had to merge them. So we now have this situation that, having had a second go, not enough people are standing. Doesn't that suggest that there's not enough interest and not people really not bothered about them, even though they spend their money? Look, if you want to set up an organisation, a talking shop about your local area, you set up a civic society, a ratepayers association, or whatever. You should not expect to be able to sort of take advantage of the local government system, hide your political views, and also get to spend our money by putting your hand in our pockets. So what could be done about this? I'm going to actually contact Nick Gibb, our MP, and ask him, can this be looked at? Because, you know, it's an abuse of the system. What could we do? Well, I suppose if in the first instance, if not enough people stood, you simply wouldn't have anyone elected. Or we could have something like, of those people, you have a choice to say yes or no. I don't want them. And they have to declare their political memberships. The other one is then after that, if people don't want them, is to abolish them or merge them even more. That's a good idea, perhaps. But even so, people have got to want this parish council system. By the way, it has no real powers. It's a talking shop. It can make recommendations. It can run allotments. Look, they do good work, some of them. But why should they have your money and also have your credibility and credence? If you want to stand for something, then go out and stand and do a good job in a local charity or something and do just as much good work. How can we get rid of them? Well, I think you could be getting on to your MP. But in terms of the Barnum and Eastergate situation, let's turn back to Mr. Robinson. Maybe some of his constituents should ask him, what do you believe? Why didn't you reveal this? And what are you going to do about it now we know what you are? Because, you know, this could be used by any extremist group, and I mean any, far right, far left, terrorist or whatever, to take over a parish council for whatever purposes. The British Democrat Party seems to think enough of it to boast about it in their recent news item. You must wonder why. Well, that's the end of this special bulletin. You'll be able to pick the full story up on the Herald tomorrow, and you know, I'm very grateful to our reporter, because Dennis has done a great job, a great service here, and I'm sure he'll be able to tell us more as he finds more about it. With that, that's goodbye.